Hey filmmakers, it is Kerry with Filmmaker Central, and today we're going to take a look at the GVM 1000D LED light panel. So stay right there, we'll be right back. Now you may have heard of GVM before, or maybe you haven't, I guess, but they are a maker of LED light panels, and they've got really good reviews out there. A lot of people, some of the big YouTube channels that I've watched have reviewed them in the past. And so I finally got a chance to get a hold of one. This is the 1000D. It's a 45 watt LED panel. Well, let's dig into it. So here I've got the case. It's got a nice kind of, the case for it, zippered pouch here. And we'll unzip it and open it up, and in the top we do have some material, thank you card, getting started thing, 2 boxes, and the light itself. So let's take a look at what's in the boxes here. So this one is the main power brick, not too bad, and looks like it's about a 5-foot long cord. That I wish was probably longer. But we'll see how that works out. And in the other box is the mains power cord, which seems like it's pretty long. I'm going to guess that this is about a 10-foot power cord, so that's pretty nice. And then we have the unit itself, and looking at it, we have the port for the power, 2 ports for Sony NPF batteries. Now, that's the standard Sony batteries that we see in all kinds of different lights and accessories. Super, super common, very inexpensive to pick up. These are really small. They probably wouldn't power this light very long. The big 970s are pretty big and would probably power this for a while anyway, but it does have mains on it. You have a brightness control on one side, and this other switch or dial here is for your color temperature, hue, saturation, and your SCE, the different scenes is what that stands for. Probably could have written that out, but hey, it's SCE, it's for scenes. A mode switch, up and down buttons here, the screen, and the power switch. In one position, it's powered off battery, and on the other position, it's powered off the mains. And let's go ahead and take a look at it. So we have, let's get this foam off of the bottom here so we can see how well this works. So we got a nice metal yoke here, big wing nuts. They seem to tighten down pretty nice. It doesn't take much pressure on them to really lock this down because it's not that heavy of a unit, which is kind of nice. The bottom here, attached with screws, nice for putting in. You could do it in 2 different positions. You could do it flat, or you could put it on the bottom. So that's kind of nice for on a C stand or a light stand. These are some really nice quality barn doors here. They're plastic, but these nice hinges on here really hold them in place. I mean, you can't quite lift it by them, but they're not going to be flopping around, which is kind of nice. You have your nice size panel here. I think it's 723 LEDs on here. And it is both bicolor, meaning it can be adjusted from 3200 Kelvin to 5600 Kelvin, and it's RGB. So you have the full range of color that you can get off of this, which allows you to do all kinds of different scene modes. There's some screws on here to take the barn doors off if you wanted to put something else on here. I think for my purposes, I'll probably leave the barn doors on just so I can control the light a little bit. And let's go ahead and I'm gonna toss a couple batteries on here just so we can see the screen real quick. So in position 1 is mains, position 2 is for the batteries. And let's see, okay, we got rotate, slave, master, app. Pressing on The multifunction one over here changes the modes. So now we're on CCT, or adjustable color temperature, and we can adjust it, like I said, from 3200 Kelvin up to 5600 Kelvin, which is your daylight balanced, which is probably what I'm going to use the majority of the time. Pressing it again gives us the hue, and we can adjust the hue. You can kind of see in the edges here, now it's kind of a turquoise, going into a green, and a purple. So you have a lot of control over the color. Changing it to saturation allows us to change how much of that saturation we're putting out. Again, very handy controls, very easy to use. And then back to color temperature. Now, I said this does have the scene mode here, and how to get to that is just holding this down, and we go into scene mode. Now, it just gives us scene numbers. So if you don't know what number it is, it's a little confusing. You kind of have to go through them, and you just tap it once each time to get to the different scenes. And some of them have different types of adjustments on them that you can do. But I'm going to show you a much easier way of dealing with that in just a moment. Turn this thing off. I'm going to get it hooked up and put it behind me here so we can get a really good look at it and see exactly what it does and some of the things that really makes this unit unique. One of the things that makes this light really cool is that you can set up multiple lights and operate them together in a master-slave combination. So that's pretty cool to be able to have remote control over the lights like that. The downside is the interface on the back. While it is pretty good, there's a few things that, it's just hard to do in just a single 2-dial setup. So what's really nice is the app that it comes with. And I'll go ahead and show you just how good this app works, because it's very impressive. So on the back, you had that mode button. That's where you toggle between master slave and app. So you want to put it in app mode, and I'll go here and let's see, I'll make sure I'm not connected to anything. I'll click on this, and you'll see all my neighbors' stuff that they have here. And we see BT_LED. I'm going to connect to that. Connects really quickly. And now we have color temperature, HSI, scene, and my scenes. And my scenes is going to allow me to save my own kind of presets. So if I had particular settings that I always used here in my office, I could save that as my scenes or whatever. If I just liked the way I customized something, I could just configure that. So that's kind of neat. The dial here on the color temperature is going to give us a brightness between 0 and 100%. The bottom one is going to allow us to change between 3200 up to 5600 Kelvin. And then there's a power switch. Turn it off. So now it doesn't turn the whole system off. It just turns off the light. So keep that in mind. The system is still on and drawing power, just not very much because the LEDs aren't on. So I've got it on right now, and I'll have this up on the screen so you can see how responsive this is. But it's just really quick. In fact, it's faster to adjust things in the app than it is from the back of the screen. That's how well this app is designed. So I can easily change things super fast on here without having to sit there and spin and spin and spin and spin the dial on the back. Very intuitive interface. So we'll go to the HSI. Here we have our colors with brightness setting and saturation all on one screen. So I'll just whip it around here so we can see just how fast things can change. And then changing the brightness. I got to keep it way down so it doesn't blow out the camera. And then the saturation, very quick. Again, I can set it way faster in here than I can on the back. And then we have our scene modes. So here's the cop car scene. The TV, so it's going to give that flicker effect as if somebody is watching TV in front of them. We have our party mode. Now this one has adjustable cycle and brightness. So it's on a 0.8 second cycle right now. Our paparazzi to emulate that flash effect at a red carpet event. And again, we can adjust the brightness on here. We'll go up the other side with disco, kind of like the party mode, a little more energetic, I would say. And again, adjustment for the brightness and the cycle time. A bad bulb, you would use this if you were shooting like an old warehouse scene and you got some bad light bulbs in there that are just kind of flickering, giving it a mysterious horror type feel to it. The candle mode, so it's simulating a candlelight, fireplace, bonfire type thing, and again, adjustable brightness on this one. I'm going to get back to this one in just a second. And then lightning. So we can simulate lightning, putting this outside of a window and giving that storm effect. Now, what I had done is when I was doing my initial testing of this, I went to record part of the video and I'm like, wow, it's like really orange. And I'm just getting this weird flicker effect and it was driving me nuts. I mean, I'm like, I don't understand why this light is not behaving properly. And it was because I was still in candle mode. So it's a very warm light and it just does this slight flicker. And yeah, all I had to do was come in here, change it back to color temperature. All the flickering went away. So user error on my part. Felt kind of stupid that I hadn't figured it out. Now, once you have your settings set up, we can go to the upper right-hand corner and click on that, I suppose is a floppy disk icon, and save a scene. Now, I don't have any scenes saved right now, but if we went to My Scenes, those different scenes would be in there. So very handy, very great light. So let's get into a little bit more of the specs. So the 1000D weighs in at about 2.65 pounds, 1.2 kilograms. You can see the footprint is fairly small. Has a color rendering index of greater than 97. So you're gonna get really good color representation. You're not gonna get weird color shifts. So very good color accuracy on that. We've got the multi-screen display. It's very handy. I love how bright that is. I can see it outside, no problems. We're gonna really use it outside. It's not really bright enough for that. I would use it in the evening or at night for certain scenes. I like that. Now the master slave mode, it doesn't allow you to individually control different lights. If this one is set up in master and the other ones are in slave, whatever setting you do on here is duplicated on the other ones. So it's not that I can go on here and change slave B to something and change slave C and do something else all from one place. I can't do that, but they can all be the same. So not a awesome, application of a master slave setup, but it does work for certain situations. The app mode again is in that same setting group to be able to use the app. And you saw how fast the app works. It's really, really incredible. It connects over Bluetooth. Now, the previous models connected over Wi-Fi. So once you connected to the light, you were no longer able to use your phone for anything else. So that was kind of a problem. If you needed to look something up online or make a change of setting or update firmware, if there was a firmware update, anything like that, you couldn't do it because you had to connect to the Wi-Fi. Well, now that it's Bluetooth, it connects faster and you don't lose your internet connectivity on your phone. So I think that's a huge plus. And the lag is almost insignificant. Like I said, it's faster than using the controls on the light itself. So I have no issue with any lag on there. You can see if I go completely from one extreme to the other, it's within about a half second. So that is, to me, not an issue at all. Let's see here. The brightness that they claim is 18,000 lux at a half meter or 5,500 lux at 1 meter. It is pretty bright. I got to give it that. It puts out a decent amount of light. In comparison, the light I'm using right now, which is up over there, is a Godox SL60 with a big softbox on it, and I get pretty much the same results when I'm using this light in a smaller package that's taking less power and in a much smaller footprint. Now, of course, putting a big softbox on the SL60 can give me a nice softer light. So there's that. There's always a time and a place for specific tools. This is not going to fit into a normal Bones mount softbox. It's just not going to happen. This has a specific purpose, a specific lighting type that you're going to do. And for my purposes, I actually really like it because I can do some pretty directional lighting, which looks a little bit more dramatic. It kind of gets rid of some of the walls in here when I use it. And in fact, let's do that now. All right, I've got the light set up over here as a key light. It's the only light turned on right now besides the little accent light in the back, just to give a little separation between myself and the wall back there. I gotta say, really like it. Like I said, it's a more dramatic look. It's a more cinematic look. It's a more Gerald Undone kind of a look. Props out, Gerald. Always love your stuff. And so this is actually, to me, a lot more pleasing than having that 30-inch softbox up there that's just throwing light all the way over here and it's bouncing back. I'm getting a little bounce back off this wall, but not much. I probably actually could use a reflector over here just to lighten up this side a little bit. So the GVM 1000D, and the price point on this guy, $169. So it's a great value for a light. I'm very impressed with the quality, the features, the color output, the color quality, which is super important. You don't want skin tones to come out green or reddish. You want everything to be as natural as possible. And with this high CRI index, that's what you get. So very impressed with the light. And that for $169, I'd say that's a pretty darn good value. Now they also sell this in kits. Now I just have the single light. That's what I'm gonna use primarily for a lot of my sit-down videos. I like how it takes up less room in my office here. I have a pretty small area. I'm very tight on space. I mean, I'm just a couple feet away from my kitchen counter over here. So a very tight area, and having a smaller light is really important to me. Now, if you need more lights, they have a 2-light kit. Now the 2-light kit is also going to come with the light stands. So that's kind of cool, but 2 of these, and you're gonna get that for $319. So again, fantastic price, a little bit of a savings on there, and you get the light stands included. The 3rd kit they have would be a 3-light kit, and that is only $499. So under $500, you get a professional quality LED light panel that has remote control, full bicolor control from 3200 to 5600 Kelvin, and all the different scene modes and the different RGB. So you could mix and match colors and do all kinds of cool stuff with it. But for like an interview setup, this is a perfect kit. And for 500 bucks, it's a high quality kit that's gonna last you a long, long time. So I'm gonna give props out to GVM on this. I will say, they did send this to me for a review. So I didn't pay for it, but they did send it to me. They're not paying for my opinion on here. It's my honest opinion. So I will say that, but I'm very, very impressed with this light. I am going to highly recommend this as a thing to purchase. I'm really impressed. I've worked with a handful of different LED panels in the past, and they've been okay, with the better ones being from companies like Aperture. And you're gonna get good quality when you spend that kind of money. But for this type of price point, to deliver this kind of quality in a package that has a very high quality fit and finish to it, a very nice feel to it, a good interface on the back, battery power as well as mains power, and an app controlled over Bluetooth that works extremely well, 2 thumbs up for me. So check them out. It's gvmled.com. I'll put a link in the description. I'll put some other links so you can find the product at B&H Photo or Amazon, whichever you prefer. If you buy it on Amazon, I do get a little piece of that without charging you any extra, so I always appreciate those. But if you like B&H, go for B&H. If you don't want to go direct to the manufacturer, you can go direct to the manufacturer. But all those links will be in the description below. Thanks for watching, everybody. This has been Kerry with Filmmaker Central. Like, share, and subscribe. Always appreciate it. Thanks for all the comments, feedback, and suggestions you guys always provide. Really, really do appreciate it from the bottom of my heart. Oops, I probably just hit my mic. But thanks a lot, everybody. And I'll catch you next time. Bye-bye.